The film opens in a crowded subway station, where the protagonist, known only as the Lost Man, scrolls through social media on his phone. Suddenly, a baby begins to cry nearby. One passenger angrily berates the child's mother for bringing a baby into the packed train and disturbing everyone else. The Lost Man, like the other passengers, ignores the confrontation, and no one comes to the woman's defense. As he exits the train, the Lost Man receives a call from his ex-girlfriend, which he hesitantly answers. She delivers shocking news: she is pregnant and currently in the hospital. When she asks for his advice, he avoids responding directly, instead asking which hospital she is in and saying he wants to visit. She insists she has already made her decision and begins to explain it, but the call cuts out due to poor signal. Distressed, the Lost Man rushes through the underground passage toward exit 8. Along the way, he encounters a strange older man, referred to only as the Walking Man. Continuing on, he enters a corridor where a wall sign points to exit 0. However, when he moves forward, he suddenly finds himself back in the central hall, once again facing the exit 8 sign, and the same Walking Man advancing toward him. Terrified, the Lost Man tries to flee, only to find himself trapped in the same spot, watching the same man pass by again and again. Realizing something is terribly wrong, he quickens his pace when the Walking Man suddenly appears standing eerily close behind him. Panicked, he turns and heads in the opposite direction, but once again ends up in the same underground passage. Desperate to escape, he tries the metal doors and even triggers the emergency alarm, but nothing happens. Moments later, as he studies the pictures lining the wall, he notices blood seeping from one of the signs. He panics and runs back, only to discover that the wallboard sign has changed from exit 0 to exit 1. Nearby, he reads an instruction board explaining that if anomalies are detected, he must return to where he came from. If none are found, he should move forward. By following these simple rules, he can escape once the wallboard reaches exit 8. Moving on, the Lost Man attempts to speak to the Walking Man again, but the latter ignores him, passing by with a cold, soulless gaze. The Lost Man continues forward, noticing nothing unusual, until he reaches the next wallboard. It reads exit 0, signaling that he has missed an anomaly. Determined not to repeat his mistake, the Lost Man begins photographing everything: pictures, doors, a fire hydrant, ventilation shafts, even the Walking Man, so he can compare them later. Finding no anomalies, he reaches exit 1 and breathes a sigh of relief. However, when he checks the photos, he is stunned to see they are corrupted, as if cheating is not allowed. While searching again for an anomaly, the Walking Man suddenly appears behind him, wearing a strange smile. The Lost Man assumes this must be an anomaly and bolts in the opposite direction, the old man following close behind. His instinct proves correct, and he finally reaches the wallboard marked exit 2. In the next loop, he carefully inspects everything and notices nothing out of place, until he hears a child crying from inside a storage locker. He tries to open it but hesitates, ultimately deciding to run back instead. The crying child turns out to be an anomaly, and he reaches exit 3, realizing that all he had to do was leave the child behind. Once again, the Lost Man scans his surroundings and finds no obvious anomalies. As he starts to move forward, however, he notices large posters staring at him in an unsettling way. Frightened, he turns back and reaches exit 4, filling him with renewed hope. The next loop also passes smoothly, and without spotting any anomalies, he continues forward and reaches exit 5. Shortly afterward, the Lost Man unexpectedly receives another call from his ex, who asks where he is. He tells her he is still in the subway, walking in circles and hopelessly lost. She wants to talk about their situation, but instead he blurts out a memory of the crying baby from earlier and the man who scolded the mother. He admits that no one stood up for her, not even him, as they were all glued to their phones. Overcome with guilt, he tearfully confesses that he cannot be a good father, that he loves Instagram too much. As he speaks, his ex is seen standing eerily behind him. Moments later, he hangs up and moves forward, only to be horrified when he finds himself back at exit 0. He realizes the call was merely another anomaly and feels foolish for believing it, especially when there is no signal in this place. With no other choice, he continues on and notices the central hall glowing entirely in yellow. The sight triggers a nervous breakdown. He struggles to breathe, an asthma attack forcing him to collapse in distress. Somehow, he manages to calm himself and turns back, eventually reaching exit 1 once again. In the next loop, the Lost Man notices a small boy. Assuming it is just another anomaly, he turns around, only to find himself back at exit 0, realizing the boy was real. He encounters the child again and tries to speak to him, but the boy remains silent. The child then walks into the central hall and points toward the Walking Man, leaving the Lost Man confused and unsettled. The scene then cuts to a flashback from the Walking Man's perspective, revealing that he too is trapped in the underground passage. He moves through the loops without difficulty and reaches exit 4, where he encounters the same little boy. Realizing the child is not an anomaly, the Walking Man decides they will find a way out together. As they continue, they begin to notice a young girl repeatedly passing through the hallway, behaving like a non-player character. Working together, the pair reaches exit 5. While searching for anomalies, the girl suddenly speaks to the walking man. She tells him that she is lost as well and suggests that they may already be dead, trapped in hell or purgatory. That, she claims, is what people have always believed about being lost. Confusion followed by anger. The conversation takes a disturbing turn when the girl's voice becomes distorted. She warns that turning back may not be the right choice and insists they should stay. She argues that daily commutes, homework, and the endless repetition of work are the true hell, repeating the phrase over and over until it becomes unbearable. Recognizing her as an anomaly, the walking man and the boy turn around and soon reach exit 6, filling them with renewed hope. In the next loop, the boy notices a knob in the center of a door, something that was not there before, and stares at it intently. The walking man fails to understand the hint and pulls the child away. Moments later, they find themselves back at exit 0. Enraged and devastated, the walking man tears down the information sign and breaks down, screaming through tears that he needs to meet his son today. After a few seconds, the walking man calms himself, takes the boy's hand, and moves forward. In the next loop, they discover a staircase that appears to lead to an exit, filling the walking man with excitement. The boy recognizes it as an anomaly and tries to stop him, but the man refuses to listen. He shoves the child to the ground and leaves on his own, soon disappearing from sight. The boy turns back and finds himself at exit 1, confirming that his instinct was correct. Moving forward again, he encounters the walking man once more, but this time, the man walks stiffly, like a machine. When the frightened boy approaches him, the man ignores him completely, revealing that he has become an NPC, trapped forever in the loop. The boy soon returns to exit 0 and moves on, where he finally meets the lost man. In the present, the two cautiously observe their surroundings. Although the lost man notices nothing unusual, the boy spots an anomaly sign on the overhead board. He silently stares at it, but the lost man fails to understand the warning. They soon arrive back at exit 0, leaving the lost man frustrated and hopeless. In the next loop, the lost man senses that a poster on the wall looks slightly different. Before he can react, the boy suddenly runs in the opposite direction, and the man follows. They reach exit 1, confirming that the boy was right and highlighting his sharp powers of observation. Once again, the boy identifies another anomaly, a strange knob in the center of a door. This time, the lost man notices it as well, and together they turn back, successfully reaching exit 2. In the next level, the hallway lights suddenly go out, forcing the lost man to switch on his phone's flashlight. The situation quickly turns horrific. Blood begins to drip from the ventilation shafts as the cries of a baby echo through the darkness, mixed with the screeching of rats. The lost man recoils in disgust and terror when he sees a swarm of rats crawling toward them, each grotesquely fused with human organs. He grabs the boy's hand and turns back. When the lights abruptly return, they realize they have reached exit 3. Pressing onward, they soon encounter a woman standing motionless in the middle of the hallway. It is the boy's mother. For the first time, the child speaks, crying out, "Mama," and tries to run toward her. Realizing she is an anomaly, the lost man stops him, causing the boy to lose consciousness. Carrying the child, the lost man turns back and finally reaches exit 4. When the boy awakens, the two begin to talk for the first time. The boy explains that he was separated from his mother, claiming he did it deliberately so she would come looking for him. Amused, the lost man admits he once did the same foolish thing as a child. As they open up to each other, they uncover unsettling similarities. Both are afraid of their mothers, and neither has ever met their father. They continue onward until the boy notices another anomaly, prompting them to turn back. They reach exit 5. In the next level, the lost man notices one of the metal doors standing open. Peering inside, he is stunned to see himself back in the subway, watching the baby cry in its mother's arms. Overcome with guilt for having ignored them, he quietly closes the door. Turning back, they reach exit 6, filled with renewed hope. The lost man asks the boy what he will do first once they escape. The boy excitedly says he wants to eat a double cheese pizza, making the man smile as he jokingly warns him he will get constipated. Before moving on, the boy hands him a snail shell as a gift, promising it will protect him. In the next loop, a loud siren blares, signaling danger. The lost man instinctively pulls the boy into a tight hug. Suddenly, filthy water begins flooding the hallway. Desperate, they try to turn back, but the rising current quickly overwhelms them, sweeping them away. The scene cuts to a sunlit beach where the lost man is spending a perfect day with his girlfriend and their young son. As the couple talks, the boy runs up and hands his father a shell he found. In a shocking revelation, the child is the same boy from the hallway. The lost man embraces him tightly before playing with him in the water. The film then cuts back to the flooded passageway. The lost man lifts the boy onto an overhead sign and urges him to hold on as tightly as possible to avoid being dragged away by the current. The boy agrees, but despite his efforts, the rushing water eventually pulls the lost man away. Some time later, the boy wakes to find the flood gone, replaced by a heap of filthy debris scattered around him. The lost man is nowhere to be seen. Alone, the boy turns back and reaches exit 7. He passes through the final level without noticing any anomalies and moves forward. The scene then cuts to the lost man, who is revealed to be alive. He rushes through the hallway toward the final level, carefully inspecting everything for anomalies. Finding none, he moves ahead, hoping he has not made a mistake. To his relief, he reaches exit 8 and realizes he has finally escaped the nightmare. He pauses to look at the shell, thinking of the boy, before heading toward the stairs. The sound of rushing commuters fills the space, and his phone regains signal, suggesting he has returned to the real world. He calls his girlfriend and learns she is still at the hospital. When she asks for his decision, he avoids answering and says he is on his way to see her. As he enters the subway to head to the hospital, reality suddenly fractures once again. A baby begins crying in its mother's arms, and the same angry man berates her for disturbing the other passengers. Horror washes over the lost man as he realizes he has not escaped at all. He has returned to the very moment where the nightmare began, trapped forever in the loop. This time, the lost man finds his courage and finally turns to face the bully. The film ends there. Please like and subscribe for more video like this. Thanks for watching.